In Lesson 3.3, you learned how to pause your application at certain points in order to inspect the current state of controls and values. However, using that technique only allows you to inspect the values of objects that your code directly refers to. Using the Watch and Locals windows, you can inspect any values that are available, regardless of whether or not your code makes reference to them. To begin, open the C# test sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of default.aspx, if it isn't open already. Now start debugging and click a date in the calendar. The breakpoint that you added in Lesson 3.3 should pause the code inside the Calendar Select Selection Changed event handler. Now you're going to view some properties using the Locals window. Click the Locals button in the bottom left of the screen. The Locals window appears if it wasn't visible already. Locals contains all of the properties that are currently available to your code in a tree structure. It's not always the easiest way to find what you are looking for, but it always contains every value that is available to your application. Expand this by clicking the plus icon next to it. The This object is the object that contains the code that is currently running. In this case, this is your ASPX page. Now find Label Output in the Locals window and expand it. The properties of the Label Output control are displayed. Note that these are only properties that have a value. You could view a complete list of the control's properties by expanding Base. Return to your web browser now by clicking Debug. Continue. Next, you're going to view some properties using the Watch window. The Watch window is very similar to the Locals window, but you can choose the values that you want to appear in it. It's usually a much more convenient way of inspecting values in your application. Click a date in the calendar again, and your code pauses at the breakpoint once more. Now display the Watch window by clicking the Watch button at the bottom left of the screen. Now select Label Output.txt by clicking and dragging your mouse cursor over it. Now right-click on the highlighted text and click Add Watch from the shortcut menu. Label Output.txt and its current value appear in the Watch window. Now use Step Over to step to the next line. The value of Label Output.txt is updated in the Watch window. The Watch window is very useful for keeping an eye on the current values of important properties. You'll be using the Watch window more in the coming lessons. Now stop debugging and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 3.4. Use Watches and Locals.